Hello, I'm Jonathan Freeman, Chief Executive of the Charity for Civil Servants, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Suzanne Heywood CBE. Suzanne really has had the most incredible life. Her early years were spent sailing around the world with her family, and as an author, Suzanne captured those adventures on the high seas in her memoir, Wavewalker, Breaking Free, which incredibly is about to be turned into a TV miniseries featuring James Norton. But today, Suzanne is a very respected leader in the finance and investment sectors and the visionary behind the Heywood Foundation. But to get the ball rolling, I'm keen to talk about your early career in the civil service. Starting, as I did, in the fast stream, you began your public service career in the Treasury. So, Suzanne, I'd like to ask you why you joined the civil service, particularly after such an extraordinary start to life. What drew you to the idea of being a civil servant?
So, as you said, I had this extraordinary childhood growing up on the yacht Wavewalker. So I was at sea for 10 years, not really able to go to school or have an education, really any sort of kind of normal, formal education. When I escaped from Wavewalker, incredibly, I managed to get into a university through a big stroke of luck and quite a lot of determination. So I did my degree, did my PhD. I won't go into all of that. Hopefully people will be encouraged to read the book. But then I was faced with a bit of a dilemma because I decided I didn't want to be an academic. I loved my degree. My undergraduate degree was in zoology, inspired by all the whales and dolphins that I'd seen on the boat. And my PhD had been on the same subject, on learning theory, how animals remember and forget things. But I decided I didn't want to be an academic. I wanted to do something broader in the world, and I wanted to work in an environment where I could work in teams. So I remember going to the career service at the university and saying, what's the most interesting, kind of intellectually interesting job that I could go and do? And they suggested 2 or 3, and one of them was the fast stream civil service. So I applied for that, and I got offered a role in the Treasury. And actually, of the 3 jobs that I was offered at the time, the Treasury was by far the least well paid, but by far as I could see, the most intellectually interesting. So that's the one that I took.
And would you say that a sense of duty or service drives civil servants?
I think it does. A sense of duty is really important to most civil servants I know. And even though I left the civil service, I was in the civil service for 4 or 5 years, I remain close friends with lots of civil servants, both from when I was there. I had breakfast this morning with 2 old civil service friends of mine, but also, of course, through my late husband as well, Jeremy Heywood. And I think most of the civil servants I know are driven by a huge sense of duty, as well as a sense that by doing these roles, you can make a real difference in a way that you can't do in most roles.
Next time.
I thought about supporting a health-related charity, but I knew that the thing that Jeremy really cared about was innovation in public service. He was seen as somebody who you could go to when you had a problem, and he would figure out who you should talk to try and get that problem resolved.